so far. And I'd like to introduce you Petrik from Lutra Consulting. Peter is one of the core contributor and project lead for Mergin Maps. So I think that's going to be another interesting talk on that very topic, Mergin Maps. Thank you.
Hello? Yeah, it's good. Can you hear me? What is Mergin Maps? Let's start from here. So if you use QGIS in your company, you know you are expert in the field, and your company or you or freelancer, you have the need to capture some data outside. Mergin Maps is a solution for this. You don't need your field surveyors to be expert in GIS. That's like the biggest things you want to achieve, is that you need to be an expert in the office, but your surveyors doesn't need to have education in GIS. So if they can use mobile, if they can use navigation in the car, they should be able to capture data for you. We have many citizen projects in Switzerland, Netherlands, where citizens, they capture data for, let's say, archaeological stuff or for volunteers in the UK. So it's very easy to capture data if you are non-expert. These are some users in UK that we have. You see, there are enterprises. We have also many like freelancers or people that just want to capture some data for themselves. So varies. So it fits to the enterprise level, and also it fits to if you have very slow projects. What you can do with Mergin Maps, so you can set up your project in QGIS. You can set up your layers, points, lines, polygons. You can customize the form. You can use QGIS vector layers to use various fields. You can attach pictures. You can have some hidden elements based on some conditions to show. You can have drop downs, sliders, calendar widgets. You can have some default values. So, for example, you can calculate who modified the feature last, what was his name and when, or you can automatically store position, latitude, longitude from the EXIF information from photos. So if you capture the photo, Mergin Maps can extract you this information and store it as an attribute in your feature. So you can do a lot of stuff. As I said, you need to be good at QGIS to be able to set it up, but then in the field, anyone can use it. You as a power user, you can also see a version history, so you can see who changed what. In a field, in a survey, you can monitor it, you can do various reports or audits, and you can attribute changes to various surveyors. What is really good is that the surveys can be done completely offline. When people come back to the office, they can synchronize, and you have everything in your project, and you will see it as a versions in your master project. The Mergin Map synchronization work with the library GeoDiff, as it was mentioned already, and it is completely offline. It's based on differences between geo packages. So on your phone, you have QGIS project with some geo packages, and you can edit them completely offline. What is nice is that we can integrate it to the enterprise environment or to other open source tools. It has API. We have various tools that it allows you to synchronize these Postgres databases, to work with big teams, so split the project into sub-projects, store the data outside Mergin Maps, for example, on Minio or S3 buckets, and various other tools that are based on API. Okay, so now let's see some features we did in 2024 this year. So what probably the biggest feature is that we take the mobile application and dashboard and QGIS plugin we have, and we completely redone the user interface and user experience. So as they say, a good project is not to make founders happy, but to make users happy. So our product manager with a graphic designer, they just took it from the ground, and we did a lot of research with users and said, okay, what is where the button should be, so it's closer to what you need. So we did a completely redone the interface, and for example, you have the sync button here, where you can just sync and data is on the cloud with just one button. It can be also used for bigger teams. We introduced the survey permission. So right now you have reader permission. So this one is you can only read access to the data in the project. Then you have editor permission, which is someone in a field who cannot change your QGIS project, cannot change your settings, cannot modify your layers, but can add or edit features in the field, add photos, add a new points or edit attributes. And then you have writer permission, which is usually you as a power user in the office, who can set the project, add the layers, and so on. This one is released 2 weeks ago. It's a measurement tools. Yes, you can also use imperial units. When you are in the field, you can measure the lines, length, or areas. This one, so we have a wish list portal that is open to anyone and users. And if you register there, you can add your idea there and vote for other ideas. So for example, this one was top voted feature last year, and we took it from the list and developed it. This is the other thing that we play with recently. It's still in the beta, but it's kind of almost there. So what we want to achieve is that when you do your survey, there is a very easy way how you can publish a map from the survey data, and you can show it to your stakeholders or council or people in the field, like, look, this is a web map that you can identify points and you can see some map. We have all the, I would say, hard work done on the servers, so we can render the maps. So now we are working on a user interface, and again, we are asking you, like, what do you want to see there, what would be useful. And once we get this, then we'll implement some front end. But as you see, we already can see some map. This is from the fiber survey, where ground cables in the ground. So for a roadmap, this feature will come in a QGIS plugin in a few weeks. So it's developed, but we are heavily testing it. So when you are in QGIS, you can list the versions of your project. You can see on the map in which version what was changed, who did the change. You can make some projects. You can download specific version and so on. And then this is more 2025 roadmap. We still want to focus a lot on the surveys. So at the top of the wish list portal, it's a drawing by freehand or tapping, a different way how we digitize features in the field, especially lines and polygons. So if you have a stylus, you can easily draw something and make a polygon. That one is top of the list, so we will focus on that. Also, we are evaluating multi-factor and single sign-on as a requirement of some bigger clients, companies. And we want to, as I said, finalize these web maps make sure that you can easily get simple web map from your survey data. So what I want to now talk is an ecosystem about open source projects. So what is Mergin Maps as an open source project? Actually, we try to go to many FOSS4G, OSGeo events, QGIS user conferences, talk to you, do all the workshops, trainings, and gather data from you users. We also have a Slack chat. You can join on Mergin Maps community/join. There is like 1,300 people on the community's Slack channel. And there are all the developers, there is a product manager, all the developers, testers, and everyone. So if there is something going on, people write there and answer them, or community members answer them. Quite a lot of traffic there. We also announce there all the features or all the events we go in. So pretty much it's kind of like the place where the community talk. Then we have this wish list I mentioned before. So there's plenty of tickets. You can vote on tickets. We also go through the tickets, try to get some more data if the feature request is not very detailed or we don't know what is meant by it. So we try to also clean the tickets. So it's like easier for others to vote for them. So we know what we want. We have also status page. So on the status page, you see all the downtime plans, like regular maintenance of the servers. You see also if there is some accident going on, you can see that the website's down. You can see why it is down, when it will be back, and so on. So this is a page where we communicate the status of the website and API and tools. And then we have documentation. We have dedicated technical writer. And we try to develop documentation the same way as we develop features. So, for example, the measurement tools. Okay. Perhaps enough. Okay. So, for example, with measurement tools, when we develop new feature and measurement tools, we first have it in beta, we test it internally, we prepare documentation, and when we release both documentation and the feature for everyone. So the documentation should be really up to date, and when we release a feature, it should be already there. You can also, we also use various social media, probably most frequently LinkedIn and Slack, the community channel. But we also do some webinars, we do tutorials of the new features. For example, I did some tutorials how to connect Mergin Maps with Postgres databases, which is like 10 minutes long, and should give you like start a hello world example how to connect it. And as it is open source, you can go to GitHub. There is a GitHub organization called Mergin Maps. And all the repositories, I think there's 20 repositories there. All the repositories are there, so you can download the server, install the community edition of the Mergin Maps server, if you like, or you can see the mobile application, the source code. You can also see various tools that we developed that are mostly based on API, like the connection to Postgres database and so on. What we try to achieve is that on top of building the community, we try to build up the partner network. And we have also partners in the UK. Matt is even here on the Matt from Matt. So we try to approach freelancers or organizations, smaller and bigger, that work with open source as a consultancy or deploying the project clients. That look, we are a partner. We will you will back link your company to our website. It has the traffic. will give you the newsletter and everything. So we try to encourage small and big companies and countries to have a support from us. Then we do some materials and some workshops and so on. We also try to work with many hardware partners. These are our hardware partners at the moment, which means that also we try to test their devices if they set up their devices. Mergin Maps works with most of the external GNSS devices there are on Android phones. I would say on iOS or iPhones. It's usually if the hardware supplier is big enough to be able to have this Apple certificate, which is quite difficult to get, but these bigger ones like Trimble, Leica, and others, they have this iOS certification, so it could be used. But you can pretty much use it with most of the devices you have for external GNSS. So next thing I want to show is our team. This is Lutra Consulting. We are 25 people at the moment, and approximately half the company works full-time on Mergin Maps. So there are like 12 people full-time working on Mergin Maps, like from development to support to other stuff. So the project is very well backed up with people. And many of these people that work on Mergin Maps are QGIS core developers. We also develop QGIS, for example, point clouds or mesh layer like flood modeling. That's things that we helped develop over the last few years. For example, you maybe recognize Martin Dobiak, who is our technical leader. He's one of the very recognized QGIS core developers. Yeah, last thing I want to show is a book. So Locate Press released the book. It's like 1 month ago, I think. And it's written by Kurt Menke, you know him. And the other writer is Alexandra Sasha. She is our technical writer. So she writes, her job is to write technical documentation for Mergin Maps. And they wrote this book. So if you want to explore the platform and start to use Mergin Maps, it's one of the things that you can read or go to technical documentation. What we want to do is to make it even more simple. So in 5 years, you don't need the book at all because there will be nothing to write about from how to set it up. But we need to work a bit on QGIS side for that. So it's not that easy. It's not all in our hands. Yeah, so that's all. If you want to contact me, this is my email, and also our company is Lutra Consulting, so we do QGIS core development and Mergin Maps primarily. Thank you.
Peter, any questions for Peter? Go on, Jonathan.
Well. Hi, Peter, thanks very much. Yeah, my question relates to, I guess, the concept of getting data sourced by citizens and so on. So one of your earlier slides, you had a list of contributors. I think you had county councils and a construction company. My question relates about how you're assuring the quality of the data that gets collected. Assuming that the data is being collected for a specific purpose, typically against a particular schema or something like that. Are there any sort of data quality checks that are made at the point of collection at all, so that quality can always be assured?
Yeah, this is your responsibility pretty much as a QGIS power user. Like Mergin Maps is data synchronization and field collection when you set up your project in QGIS. So you can do some constraints in QGIS, soft or hard. So some data must be filled or you can like show the ref that, okay, this is not valid format or something. So you can set this up. And then, of course, when you get the data back in the Mergin Maps or QGIS, you can do some, let's say, Python plugin or post-processing to verify the data afterwards. But this is not like part of the platform. Like you can set your project as you want. Like at the end of the day, it's really just QGIS project based on geo packages and some background data, background maps and so on. And you can do whatever you like with that. So it's like really up to this power user in the office to set it up.
Brilliant. One last, go on.
Yeah, so if I was responsible for a project with some field data collection involved, what, Andy might want to answer this question as well, but under what circumstances might I want to use Mergin Maps as opposed to, say, QField?
I was afraid I will not. I would say that being very easy to use for field surveyors is part of the DNA of the Mergin Maps project. So if you are a GIS guy, won't do a buffers or export atlas in the field, then you can use QField. If you have a bunch of surveyors in the field that are not GIS people, they don't have this education, they don't know what geo packages, then, but they can use their phones, then it's very easy for you to say no training. So you don't need pretty much any training for the mobile application. Should be very clean interface based on what they are used to in different application on mobile phone. So it's like click here and synchronize data or you do a photo. So I would say this is the biggest difference from my point of view.
Brilliant. I suggest we draw a line there. Any more questions? I'm sure we can reconvene.